So, I was like, I hit 2 1-1s. I'm going to be a professional golfer. And this guy at this range doesn't know what he's talking about. I took a lesson from a guy, like I said. He didn't know shit. I'm going to do it on my own. I got down. I started shooting like 85 within the first like 2 months of playing.
Wow.
And I was like, I'm a god. I'm the best player in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Because every person I'm playing with is a stranger.
Yeah.
Average scores 90 plus.
Yeah.
I'm beating them by 5 strokes, and I just started playing.
Yeah.
And then I went out as a single, and I got paired up with this random guy, Charlie Milano. Love you, bro. And he played mini tours, and I had never played with even like a low single digit. Bruh. And I thought I was bombing it. I was probably like 270, 280 if I cranked one.
Yeah.
This guy's 100 yards in front of me. Like, I didn't believe that was a thing.
Yeah.
And like I said, I quickly realized, like, this guy knows a bunch of things that I don't know. Like, his chip takes a hop forward and stops.
Yeah.
Another one checks early and then release. Like, all these things that I thought were a lot more luck-based. Like, that day I got some good kicks. Usually I'm not going to get good kicks. A lot of the variables seemed like they were disappeared for this guy.
Yeah.
And I realized I'm not playing the same game as him. But I was humble. It humbled the shit out of me. I shot like 85 and he shot like a 70. And I was like, bro, teach me.
Yeah.
I never seen anybody hit the ball like that, and so he starts showing me a couple things. The hand's got to be ahead of the club at impact. Yeah. Like, how do you even do that?
Yeah.
He's like, you got to hit in transition with your lower body initiating the rotation, and then you hit with the upper body and hands. Like,
are you writing this down, Adam?
But
yeah.
Things also that normal golf coaches that just work at the driving range never told me.
Yeah.
Controlling your low point, that you want the head of the golf club to make contact with the golf ball and stay moving through the turf for almost 8 fucking inches in front of the ball. I had never heard those things.
They don't teach that kind of shit.
Flighting a wedge. I'm like, you're chipping a lob wedge 100 yards. How is that possible?
Yeah.
De-lofting it. Hitting it with my core. All these things that I was like, wow. The other thing is, this is the main thing, like, I was standing, I'm on top of the ground. And he came over and he pushed me over.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh shit. Yeah, because I'm standing there and I'm kind of like bending my knees and I'm 100% on my heels.
Yeah.
And then he's like, you got to be over the ball, like on the balls of your feet. I can't be able to push you over. You need to like dig into the ground with your feet and like create tension in your legs. And I was like, what?
The ground is your friend.
But every other golf coach is like, you have to grip the club like this. You have to. And you have to take the club away like this. And it'd be an hour and we never got past this takeaway point to here. And in like 40 minutes, this mini tour pro had shown me
great tips.
10 different things that immediately changed the way I practice. I mean, and then like literally 3 months after that, I shot 72. And it was almost like a fluke. I just had one driver swing thought, and I was hitting like this disgusting little 270 like baby fade every single time.
Let's not get overboard here. Disgusting.
But to me,
270 fades.
I almost hit, which is why it's disgusting. Make 280 great again. Make 270 great again. Anyways, I hit like 16 greens, and I one putted twice, and I 3-putted twice. I shot 72, and I called my dad, and I'm like, I just shot 72. And he's like, on a par 40? And I was like, no, it wasn't a 9-hole. Like, it was 18 holes. I shot 72. And he's like, what do you do now?
Yeah.
Like, what are you going to do from here with this?
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But my drive to keep getting better was insane. And that 72, like, and I kept going out and shooting low 80s, but I'm consistently getting better.
Yeah.
And all I'm practicing, I practiced this for probably 3 months, hitting a 7-iron from shaft parallel, hands low to the ground, to shaft parallel, hands low to the ground, carrying it 100 yards, and I put an alignment stick in the ground in front of me, and trying to start the ball on the right side of the alignment stick. Because everybody's inclination over the top swing left. So this guy's like, if you can't hit chippy draws with a 7 30 times in a row, you can't go on to the next club.
Well, and you have no business pulling it back further. Right.
And what he really taught me is like, swinging fast doesn't make the ball go far because you're missing the middle of the face.
Yeah.
And then I'm starting to hit the middle of the face, and all of a sudden I'm gaining 30 yards per club.
Yeah.
De-lofting it. And I'm like, I'm not even trying. I just have a clear idea of my objectives. I want to feel connected. I want to feel like my body moves first, and then my hands stabilize the club instead of like releasing it to hit the ball. And like even just those 2 or 3 things, and now all of a sudden I'm like a single digit handicap. You know? And I'm shooting like 78 all the time, 75, and now I'm like, what do I do with this? I'm just some guy who now is like pretty good, but I'm obsessed.
Yeah.
I had quit drinking and replaced my addictive personality, which I can't get rid of. I'm an addict. I'll be the first one to admit it, brother.
Put it towards something good.
You know? So like everybody else is like, let's go to the bar. I'm like, dude, it's 8:30 at night. I'm going to Griffith because there's no one there. The lights are still on the putting green, and I just would spend 6 hours alone. The park would close. And back then the lights stayed on. So I'd stay there until 5 a.m. because I'm also like, what do I do to not drink? Let me just practice.
Yeah, it was out.
And like that day that I had shot, or every time I started hitting it good. And now all of a sudden I'm still shooting 80, and I'm like, it's all short game.
Yeah.
It's all short game. So I would hit balls like, you know, religiously, but I would putt and chip like it was my job. 6-7 hours a day. Yeah. I'd leave the course from chipping and putting, and I'd go home and I tried to hit 500 7-footers on my putting mat in a row. Like, because I'm realizing like 4 feet, I'm so close to the hole. It's the shortest, slowest swing that you make in golf, and I can't do it. So what business do I have trying to hit driver 300 yards? So, and that was just something I noticed. I'm like, I play with, you know, Charlie, and he misses 12 greens and shot 1 under. It's like the guy chips it close.
Like this guy.
And he 1-putts, and so I'm like, if I can't do that. So I just realized, and look,
I feel better.
It feels great, but I gotta tell my students, don't expect to get up and down every time unless you're really practicing. But grinding. I mean, these guys on tour practice chipping and putting for 7 or 8 hours a day, 4 or 5 days a week. So if you're practicing chipping and putting for 10 minutes, once you're done with your range time, I see it all the time. Take their bag from the stall, they go to the putting green, they drop 3 balls. They try to putt them from 20 feet, they do it like twice. Then they get their wedge, they chip 2 balls, well not chip, they chunk 1 and thin 1, pick them up, grab the bag, and they leave. The putting green is always open. It's always open.
And it's free.
And it's fucking free. That's the other thing, right? I'm broke. I'm like, you know, recovering alcoholic. How can I do this for free? That's the other thing. Golf is so expensive. So back when I started, they had old range machines that operated on a different type of system than they have now everywhere. And sorry, Griffith, but we had something called the tour card, which was a magnet, a powerful one that you get from like a hardware store. And if you hold it over the number 7, like 140 balls came out. Because I want to hit 2 buckets a day, you know? Like, I'm like, I want to get fucking better, but I can't spend $30 a day on range balls.
By the way, range balls are absurdly priced. I know you were figuring your loophole, but they are absurd.
That's why I did it. If it was $5 for a bucket, I probably wouldn't have done that.
I cannot.
But once I found that out, we called it the tour card actually, because it was like, you want to practice like the guys on tour. Here's your free balls. Now eventually they figured it out and they've changed now all the systems. And I apologize, you know, but look, you got to do what you got to do, and I've made up way more for that for all the money I have paid there. But I practiced like an addicted alcoholic. And I realized like, okay is not good. And because I have an addictive personality, I'd be like, okay, I have a 30-yard chip. I'm not allowed to leave until all 5 balls are within tap-in range. And sometimes that would take 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Just for that one, and I'd hit 4 to a foot, and I'd blade the last one.
Yeah.
And I'm like, see? God damn. But it was a level of obsession that allowed me to progress, and it wasn't just that. It was like, I would practice, but then I'd say to myself, I don't feel like I really know fully what I'm doing. So I read the Ben Hogan book 600 times cover to cover. 600 times.
Do you know when
I still read it.
Do you know when I get slightly out of whack, or I find myself in a little bit of a slump, I just grab that bad boy and I just go through it.
I mean, when was it released? Like 1950?
Yeah.
And you got to get the hardback. You got to get the one with the full illustrations. You know, the little
That's
paperback.
that you do that to reset.
I still do. I don't necessarily swing like Hogan, but his just bait. He just puts it in a way of speaking the fundamentals that like you can pick up what works for you, and it's just like a great reset.
I do something like that too. When I'm out of whack and I need a reset, I pop in the Fast and Furious 1 and just watch that from start to finish, and just Paul Walker's performance in it. Just we all have that thing that just gets us back to where we need.
I want to go back on your pro range card thing. I grew up around this neck of the woods surfing. And back when I was a kid, when we were still using typewriters in high school, before the internet, all the beach parking lots had the old quarter machines, Fun fact, pro tip, if you could get in a time machine and go back to that era, is...
We're in a time machine right now, by the way.
Yeah, you are.
It's like Blast from the Past, and I'm Brandon Fraser.
Yeah.
The tabs that you can pull off of a can...
Would those work to?
Wow.
But you had to slide them in a certain way, and you wiggle it until you feel it catch the thing, and then you go and you watch the meter just go bloop.
I love that the meter maid would have to come.
And the meter maid, she was coming to the thing going, tabs. Fucking kids with their fucking bottle caps.
I think that's what eventually happened with the range balls. They're like, wait, we dispensed 1,000 range balls in 1 hour, and they made $12. So and look, I also wasn't aware of all this golf etiquette fully yet. Obviously, you don't want to steal. I'm not advocating stealing, but look, I'm broke. Golf is inaccessible. It's too expensive. The other thing, I realized I also got to play on the course, right? Because practicing is cool, but situational and pressure on the course, you can't simulate it. So what I do in the summer is I'd wait until 6:45, hop the fence, go on to the 3rd hole, and I'd play 8 or 9 holes until it was dark at 9 o'clock.